All right, welcome here to week one, our final match here for the feature matches. We got Caleb G, who's playing on an alternate account here, so he doesn't have his usual why not username, up against Ryan D. So these are our two winningest players in as long as the feature matches have been running. So happy to see them. Well, I guess we now have Ryan's hand here, which is not great. Um, Caleb in hand has a dead weight, two of them with different arts. That's what I was put on. He has a Mephitic Draft, which is that black little artifact, and he has Oltec Archaeologists and Marauding Brianfang to go find his island. Uh, did Ryan draw anything interesting?
Yeah, has an appraiser, so it's going to be able to have a nice, powerful turn four. And then, yeah, you see the rest of the cards in hand. So far, just seems to be a typical red-white deck. And then on the other side, I guess we've got Mardu going on. Sorry,
Uh,
Esper, maybe.
yeah, it looks like it's going to be Esper here with a Brianfang in hand, which is that blue island cycler. Yeah, so Ryan has a 10-4 record in feature matches, which would be the best record if not for Caleb with his 14-2 record. So this is why they keep coming back.
Yeah, time to figure out who is the greatest Titan of them all when it
Yeah,
comes to these.
for sure. So it looks like Ryan may be piloting a red white deck here, perhaps.
Yeah, I
Uh,
haven't been seeing much in other colors.
yeah, so uh, just from going in his deck, Caleb had a fair number of islands, which leads me to believe that he might just be equal across all the colors. Like he has a white 5-drop in his hand, the Oltic Archaeologist, which wouldn't occur to me to be like a splash card here, and that's all he's got going on right now. He has two lands as well. And here's this deep cavern bat just poking in there, just being as irritating as we had discussed earlier.
Hmm. And I mean, Caleb's doing quite well to start the league, 2-0. So it makes sense that he's kind of in this awkward position. Hasn't yet got any punishment packs in order to cut down on the third.
So here's Vanguard of the Rose. I've yet to see that card really excel, but I mean it reads pretty okay. Similar to other cards we've seen in the past, a 2-mana 3/1 at uncommon that can give itself indestructible by some means. We've seen paying life, we've seen discarding a card, now we're seeing sacrificing.
Yeah, it is quite interesting that it has felt not as strong as previous versions. I think maybe just the fact that there are these one-ones that are around that can trade for it, and then otherwise there's these big creatures. It just feels like a lot of the time falls a little short
Yeah,
of more powerful things going on in this format.
and it costs mana as well.
Hmm.
Other ones in the past we've seen did not cause you to need to use mana. But Caleb likes the card just enough to leave it on top of his deck with the scry here. It gives him a way to get that draught into the graveyard, so you can draw another card. So and he could sack the freebooter pretty easily as well. So looks like this is going to go after the 4/4. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, there's you know, the Explorer was not able to go on the Sanctuary of the or the Vanguard of the Rose, sorry, because of that mana cost that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So decided to hold it up, keep the Vanguard safe.
All right. So empty-handed here for Ryan. Caleb's got the Vanguard of the Rose, and he's also got Join the Dead in his hand, which is just the one black removal spell here.
Mm.
So, and this Deep Cavern Bat keeps poking in. And one thing I do wanna say is the Thousand Moons Infantry, that creature with pseudo vigilance. I don't know
Yeah.
why they worded it this way. All of the things that let you tap your creatures to do stuff are all at sorcery speed. So I don't know why untapping on your opponent's turn is any different from vigilance.
Um. Hmm.
Like all of the
uh.
all of those tap two creatures to do something are seem to be sorcery speed. So very weird.
Yeah.
If they just put vigilance on it, you could attack and use it. I don't think that would be
I
too
guess
good
it's
for a
it.
3 mana 2 for a common.
I guess it's because I mean this is like untapping is better in a sense, right?
I
Because
suppose. I
uh,
suppose it's not.
it
It's
means that
you know.
you can tap it for the other abilities and then keep it as a blocker.
Yeah, I suppose. I guess so. Oh, here's a nice splash here. Ackle Packle.
Ackle packle.
Well, I don't know if it's a splash, but blue seems to be his third of three colors. Yeah, it's fun. Like this card, it's fun to say and it's fun to play because you get to draw cards. I mean, not this turn,
Yeah.
but and here comes a little fungus here to mill two cards.
Unfortunately, is not the bat that will
Oh,
benefit from that, but
Chupacabra Echo would have been a nice draw there, which got milled. So looks
mm,
like we're gonna discover here and see what we can so we can add something good to the board. Mine cards. I mean, cards been good. It's not really moving the needle here on this board.
yeah.
This is just a bat and then a bunch of creatures staring at each other.
True. One thing that can be said about the cart is that it can let volatile word glyph act as a sort of rummage engine without
Yeah,
having to endanger it.
yeah. Like you could just do it like on your opponent's end step or whatever, and you
Mhm.
get that advantage. And now we get this trigger here, and looks like he's gonna go fire him up some bricks.
Mhm.
Very good card.
Things, yeah, really good.
It gains
Things are
life.
looking.
It replaces itself. It makes tutus later on.
Mhm.
These are all things I'm looking for in my magic cards. And it's
Yeah.
going to trigger the Packle this turn and next turn. So the card
Wow.
advantage is looking to be running rampant here.
I have to say, I didn't think when I saw it in the spoiler season, I thought not like I don't know about it, but it just hits the right spot. Good early, good late,
Which one's this? The
and
bricks or
the bricks. Yeah, I have to admit I undervalued it. I didn't think it was going to be as good as I take it now, and as I see it and think of it like it as kind of a groaner when I see it.
that's very first pickable. I mean
Hmm.
the pack is probably going to be a weaker one, but still, poor Akko Packle only drew two cards. Shame.
Yeah.
But one of the card that he drew at the end of his last turn was another real good one, Sanguine Evangelist, which is going to pair very well with the backside of the bricks.
Mm. +1, +2, +1 for the entire board with a bunch of bats flying
Yeah, that's a nice one. But Ryan's maybe thinking about attacking here with some number of creatures. I mean, the Vanguard of the Rose makes it a little tricky, but how else is he gonna? He needs to get in damage now before the bricks get fired.
in. Mm.
So Caleb's thinking about firing off his Join the Dead here. Um,
Okay.
it could be on the Vanguard, I guess, would be the target. It could be the Thousand Moon Infantry, just for being a 2/4. He's actually going to target the glyph, sort of noting what you noted before, which is the advantage you can get from using it to crew.
Hmm.
He says, I want to stop all that, and now he's drawn another removal spell, Ray of Ruin. So if another big threat shows up, that one's handled as well. So looking pretty nicely for Caleb here. He still has he still has to whittle down Ryan's life total from 13, and the Ryan still has a board that can block pretty okay for now.
Hmm.
But we say advantage bar is moving in Caleb's direction. We would say, and
Definitely.
a nice rare here. Yeah, 3 mana 2/1.
Likely going to discover, perhaps.
Make a 1/1 on the way in. Make a 1/1 on the way out, and pump everything. Just such a solid card. And he's gonna use his exile here. Just get rid of that 3/1. Just whittle down the defenses.
Mm.
I'm assuming the Vanguard cannot sack itself to fizzle the scry.
Let me take a look.
He's gonna crew. Not sure why he's crewing here in second main phase of Caleb's, but
Yeah, sack another creature, sack that.
okay. Yeah, most of the cards today cannot sack themselves. Almost none of them can. Well, here's just a 2/2 here. So he had a 3/1 and a 2/2. Now he just has a 2/2. But the flying is gonna get it done here. I think it's still a few turns off, but once those bricks gets fired, it's for a turn.
Yeah. Looking at the rest of the deck, there's not a whole lot. There's a couple of abrades that would be nice. There's breaches, eager pillager.
Oh, that's a nice one too.
Yeah.
I had somebody script to
Uh,
that on turn 3 today. That's how good that card is.
yeah.
Just see it and don't want to play against it.
Mm-hmm. But there's not a whole lot of mega bombs to be drawn towards that could really save him here. Like there's no Quintorius, and even Quintorius might be a bit vulnerable to these bats flying through.
Yeah, I don't even think Quintorius is gonna be good enough here. There's just
Mm-hmm.
too much damage coming through. So in come the bats, and looks like he's getting the Vanguard in there. He has a lot of fodder so that he can sack to make sure it stays alive.
Mm-hmm. Probably the treasure first, I imagine.
So once again, we see the power of the 3-color decks here. Like we know why people play multiple colors. It's to play the best cards. It's just there are risks with mana bases, but no troubles this game.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so crewing the cart here to scry, yeah.
Scrying, seeing a quicksand whirlpool,
Okay, that
deciding to keep
solves
it on
one
top.
of the many problems.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw his cartographer's companion here under the
can bet
Vanguard bus.
can get back the card underneath the ruined lurker bat next turn, perhaps.
If that's the threat he decides, it could.
Or
Yeah,
this turn
I
even.
guess that would be
It is
the
tapped.
yeah. So he could pay 3. He can do that, and then is he still a mana off? Hmm.
Deciding. Might also be thinking that the Vanguard of the Rose might be a target that's very problematic to come through.
Yeah, well, the Vanguard of the Rose, you can put a body in front of. The Flyers, it's guaranteed damage. So
Hmm.
we'll see what he decides here. He's definitely going to fire it off on something, and it has to be a tapped creature because he only has 5 mana, so he could not pay the full cost. And
Oh,
I think he's concluded that he'd rather not show him that card and just move on to the next game. So looking at Caleb's mana base, I call it the mana base of my nightmares.
mm-hmm.
it's like it's like well, in I'm including the hidden lands in these counts, but like 6 plains, 5 islands, 8 swamps, 2 captivating cave, forgotten monument, maybe some other caves further down that we can't see, but basically like 6, 5, 8, and some other various lands.
Mm-hmm.
But look, when you make it work, it's great. So blue is his clearly his third color, but he's still just playing like a bunch of blue 2-drops and stuff, like stuff you'd want to play on turn 2. So
Yeah.
didn't I think he maybe switched out one card there, but I didn't quite catch it. So not too many changes to be made. It worked well. I'm assuming Ryan's just playing 2 colors, either that or like an extremely light splash that we didn't see.
Extremely light is correct. It
Okay.
is the Master's Guide mural
Okay.
artifact synergy.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Given the couple of the gnomes that are running around, and just I imagine the Vanguard of the Rose that we were mentioning, considering Tectonic Hazard, considering the Dauntless Dismantler, the 2 mana 1/4,
I think that card's just main deckable, honestly. That
and
2 mana
now
one
it's in the
four.
deck.
It's an annoyance. Like I've never seen
Hmm.
it be amazing, but I've played against it and it was annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a nice hand. Actually, well, it's
So,
not as nice as I thought at first glance, but it's still pretty good.
in terms of nice hands, we see the sideboard card
Okay.
available, as well as Kellen, the Thousand Moons Infantry again, and a Seismic Monster Sword. It looks like he's going to start with Kellen, which I think makes sense.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Get a
Oh,
little bit more damage in, get the
I
trigger.
revised my statement. Caleb's hand is now very good again because he's drawn a plains.
Hmm.
So the rest of his hand, he has Iron Paw Aspirant, which is the 2 mana 1/2. What's a counter? He has the Oltec Cloud Guard, the 4 mana 3/2 flyer, and Join the Dead. So but he had no planes to start with, so he got a bit bailed out there and is able to play on curve rather than against curve or off curve, which he would have had to do using the Captivating Cave in his hand to make white mana.
Hmm.
So nice little draw there. Planes. Now he has a second planes as well. So yeah, here's that 2/4 we saw, which was pretty annoying in the early stages of the game. I mean, it did get outclassed. Um, Kellen is gonna join the dead. I mean,
Goodbye, Kellen.
yeah, card's just really good. Like 2 mana, 2/3. Whenever it attacks, you basically surveil, and if it's a 3 mana cost creature, you can just draw it instead. Like pretty great. And here's
Yeah.
one of the just the most one of the most solid commons in the set here. Just always feel good about putting these in your deck and casting them on turn 4. Cloud Guard here.
Yep. Shades of the Preening Knight in Mom.
Yeah, well, it reminds me more of this card we had back in Kaladesh, where you could get either a 3/2 flyer or a 2/1 flyer that made a 1/1. You could get either or. Now you just get both halves. It was a fabricate
Wow.
card.
And he's making this attack because he has a Seismic Monster Sword in hand that
Mm-hmm.
he is probably keen to develop on turn 5.
Yeah, makes sense to me. He's just playing out his hand here. All Caleb's got left behind is a bunch of lands and a Iron Paw. And now he's drawn a second Iron Paw, so at least he can make one large-ish creature here.
All right.
So he can build
And
it up all on one creature, or he can make two threes. Probably gonna make two threes if I had to guess. Yeah, don't want to
yeah.
pile it all up on one to get removed. But yeah, the Monstrosaur. I mean, he could trade his two cats for the Monstrosaur, I suppose. Along with
Along with a
actually,
gnome.
actually might not work with the Dismantler being able to kill.
Yeah.
Uh, Basically, for just one white, you could kill all tokens, artifact tokens. Okay, Fanatical Offering, not bad. He is still a turn away here. So he's attacking since he's planning to sacrifice it anyway. Seeing if
Mhm.
Ryan wishes to take a singular point of damage or not. Ryan's in the tank. He's like, what is this all about? What is this nonsense?
Yeah.
Caleb's like fist pumping. Yeah, 1 damage.
Got to get those small edges. Just goes
Yeah.
to show why Caleb is such a great player. Why he has that. What did you say? 14-2?
14-2, and he was 12-0 at one point.
Incredible.
He was
Oh my gosh.
12-0.
Just incredible.
Look, there's a reason why he keeps coming back to the feature matches, you know?
Hmm. But
It's
yeah,
good.
this 1/4, as soon as he flips that the brick house, it can just get rid of those two tutus
Yeah.
to great effect.
Or he could get rid of the artifact itself, the anthem. So Caleb drew another land and a deadweight, which he just sort of threw on this monster sword to try and try and make sure he's not taking too much damage here while he tries to find something other than a land to play. But he will get
Yeah,
to transform next turn.
Ryan here. It's a little awkward this position. He's got a quicksand whirlpool. Can't cast it yet, except on his own creature potentially. And as you just saw, he has the rumbling rock slide. And he had to
Yeah,
ask himself, "Well, am I gonna throw it at a 2/3?" And I guess the answer is yes.
yeah, you just feel bad about it, but I mean, you got to get your opponent dead at some point. And
Mhm.
with seeing the bricks on board, he knows, Caleb's going to get more board presence next turn, so might as well just wipe out the biggest creature, even though it's not really an impressive feat. So he's drawn his Ackle Packle here, but I have to imagine that transforming is the most correct thing here.
Yeah.
I do like to try and get my value, but he can wait till next turn. One card I did find that pairs well with Ackle Packle that I played at the pre-release is the Cogwork Wrestler, because Ackle has the text of at the beginning of each end step, if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control, you get to do it. So fun little fact there for anybody playing that card, because most of these cards aren't worded that way. Most of them just check if something happened at your end step, but that one checks each one. So if you have a flash artifact, get to draw
There's a
some extra
couple of
cards.
effects like that, I think. Or maybe I'm just remembering a game that I was playing with Ackle Packle.
Yeah,
But uh, unfortunately, Ryan was not able to just fire off the Dauntless Dismantler, the one for it, at least because he's got his Explorer token that I imagine he doesn't want to be blowing up himself.
all right, so here's Itali's favor to give this thing some trample here. And he's got a Glorifier of Suffering. That's not bad either.
Yeah.
That card's been pretty good too, I found.
Yeah. Could make get some more attackers in.
Yeah, usually we've seen this effect at 4 mana. We've seen a couple times a 4 mana creature that puts counters on stuff. Here it's 3 mana, but you have to give up something to get the counters. Not bad. I played in a deck with 2 Market Gnomes the other day, and I was very happy throwing my gnome away to get counters. So he has a nice attack here with the 6/5. Just gonna throw everything here. He says Caleb's at 11. He's gonna block. So he's gonna take the free eating a creature rather than blocking more damage. So taking 1 extra damage here. He does need to draw something, or else this game is pretty finished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's drawn another land. That ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, he's gonna get his 2 blockers removed.
Yeah, he can use the cave, I suppose, the captivating cave to put counters on something.
Yeah, but he's facing three attackers with 2 blockers, so
Says, you know what? I
he'll
want
just
a
be dead.
4/8. I want a 4/8. That's what I want.
Yeah. Where did we find Ackle Packle, and where can we find more like Ackle Packle?
Yeah, he's a great card. Like I said, fun to say, fun to play, and just a good card. But it's not going to be quite enough here. So the Seismic Monster is back up to its original size after a little bit of work done by Ryan. He gets it back to its advertised 6/5, and we get a game 3. Very very happy, since the first 2 matches were a bit of a blowout. The games were not too close. So here we got a nice game 3. Always like to see it.
I'd say that they were shuffler shutouts.
You could say that, yeah. But at least no bugs in those games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The B
that
word.
small mercies
The
in
B
this league.
word.
That's for sure.
Are we even allowed to say it? Do I have
Uh,
to censor it out, and do I have to go edit it and censor it out before we publish?
we know you don't have time for that.
So Caleb,
You
no
said
changes to the deck here. I guess Ryan's looking at something.
he's looking. Hasn't made any changes himself yet, but he is definitely looking. Um, yeah, the Thousand Moon Crackshot. There's an Envoy of looking at how he could be putting in, but no, has decided to just forge ahead
There you go. Yeah,
and
like the
hopefully,
to me the Dismantler is a main deck card. I think a lot of the time because a lot of people are playing these artifact decks or going
yeah.
to. It's
And
pretty
as it
versatile.
turns out, it's there in the starting hand. So there you go.
So Caleb's got all of his colors in a roundabout way. He's got a promising vein, plains. He's got an island cycler, a swamp cycler. So he'll be getting his colors. Not too much action otherwise, though. He has Araska Puzzle Door, Petrify, and Ray of Ruin. So a little card draw, some removal, and land cyclers. So he needs to find something to do with this perfect mana that he's building for himself. What's Ryan got
Right.
going on?
Started off with one plains, four mountains, Dauntless Dismantler, and the red-white gold card, and then has since picked up a Glorifier of Suffering in Natali's favor.
Okay, not
So
bad.
potentially going to be seeing 3-2 come down on the field, or maybe a 2-5 trample
Is that
with Discover.
the red white gold card you're talking about? Is the uncommon, the 4/4?
Indeed, the
Okay.
4-4 that discovers 3 if you can tap.
Yeah,
All right, so I
yeah,
guess
I just call it Capri Sun. I think all the letters are in the name somewhere there.
there's a lot of food based on like on in LCI based on the alternate names I've heard you provide
Yeah,
to these cards. We've got
yeah. There's
applesauce.
acolyte of applesauce as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm like some of these cards. They, I mean, I know they were trying to be authentic to I think like Mesoamerican culture and stuff with some of the names, but they're not making it easy on us to say some of these words out loud. I'll tell you that much.
hmm
So using the puzzle dough here, just lack of anything else to do. Fan's a dead weight here, so that can
that's
knock
nice.
off this 3/2. And petrifying the 1/4, like pretty astute there. Like obviously you don't care about it as an attacker or blocker, but you care about it as being able to interact with your artifacts. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's interesting.
there it is.
Did not in fact sacrifice it to make it a 4-3, which would have survived the dead weight. But the reason he's doing that is he just wants another permanent that can be tapped for his various tap effects.
All right. Yeah, it makes sense. He does have the Sunborn there, so he wants to have access to that.
And looking at the rest of what's in here, I don't see the militia that we've been talking up. But
No.
there's some other cards, vehicles like the careening mine card that could be useful for the 1/4.
Yeah,
But
not bad.
that white red uncommons, a good enough reason for as long as it existed, which was very short.
All right, so here comes the mine cart. Not bad. Thing is, now Caleb is just going to start slamming big bodies here. He has the swamp cycler still in his hand, and he's scried another one on top of the rampaging spike tail. So there's two of those coming down. Coming
Oh boy.
down. He's got an island for his 6 land, and he's got the Master's Guide mural as well. So he's got some action here. And I mean, this one, you're not getting the ETB trigger, but if he untaps with it, he gets to attack for a big amount of damage next turn.
Yeah, it seems like Ryan's gonna have to draw removal, which he just did. I was
Nice.
gonna say, it seems like he's gonna have to draw removal in order to really claw back here, because these big bodies are gonna be posing quite a roadblock.
Okay, there's a
But
rock slide, so not too bad. And now
mhm,
he gets to attack for a nice 6 damage, but there's another 5/6 coming down the hatch. So
with a scry,
yeah,
topping Master's Guide mural, which he will be able to cast with
with
the
a
treasure that he's making this turn.
yeah, but he'll have to make another treasure in order to flip it because
Correct.
you're not splashing a 5 mana 4/4 with no other text, right?
hmm
Right. So here's another big old dino here to hold down the
Yeah.
fort. See if Ryan can find a way around this big 5/6 here.
And you said that Caleb has his own Master's Guide mural. Is this
Yep,
the Master's Guide mirror?
there you go. It indeed might come down to that. We'll see. So what's Ryan thinking about here?
I think he's thinking, do I just develop this or do I try to daring discovery? And I think he's just opting to do the mana efficient thing and try to get the board going.
Okay,
Hopefully, he can
so
flip soon
so
enough.
he did draw a daring discovery. That's gonna cause
No,
a
sorry,
lot.
not daring discovery.
Oh,
Just to discover with Itali's favor. I
oh, okay.
apologize
I thought
for
you meant like
misspeaking there.
he had a daring discovery, which would have actually been really strong.
Hmm.
All right, so this 4/4 coming into play tapped is not nothing here.
Yeah, the
Unfortunately,
Dauntless
five
Dismantler
six.
doing work.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's still you've petrified it, and it's still doing something, and it's 2 mana. Like it's a 2 drop that you cared enough about to use a premium removal on, and even though it's been out of combat for the entire game, it's still actually having an effect on the game here. As we go into the later turns. So yeah, just a good card, just good.
Hmm.
Like sometimes it'll be insanely backbreaking, and it can never really be that bad because a 2 mana 1/4 just is able to block stuff.
Has decided to keep a attentive Sunscribe on the field,
Okay.
and uh,
So he might be giving up his
on the top
mind
of the deck.
card here in order to craft. Looks like that's exactly what's going on. I mean, he is going to be able to get in for some damage here.
Yeah, can get in for some damage as well as he is going to be able to benefit from his Whirlpool, which he has kept on top of his deck. So
Okay.
he can get rid of that 5/6, exiling it.
Yeah, that would be useful for him. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Caleb can also craft. Don't know if he has an artifact in his graveyard necessarily.
I feel like he must have, right? Otherwise, maybe the play there was to block with the freebooter.
Could be because he will not be able to make a 4/4 if he crafts because it'll come into play tapped. Because
Ooh.
so like I said, the dismantler just doing work here. Uh, he must be really happy he brought them in from the sideboard because it has actually had a pretty big effect here on the later turns.
Yeah, in both games.
Yeah, so
All right. Here comes
Ryan's
the another
thinking
four
about
four.
he's thinking about crafting here. That seems to be the thing to do. Oh, so he did actually have to craft away a real body here rather than like some trinket or something in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So Caleb can't do anything
Significant.
here except play his Ackle Packle. Happy to see it again. You get to
Yeah.
just keep saying it over and over and over, and it's enjoyable.
Well, now the lack of freebooter block seems really good because he can get the Apple Packle trigger on Ryan's turn if he blocks with it now.
He knew he was going to draw it. Like he plays as if he's going to draw the card that's gonna be useful for him. That's why he wins so much. You see.
Hmm. So Ryan's hand now he has to choose between if he wants to Itali's favor and attentive sunscribe or to fire off this quicksand whirl, potentially on Apple Packle if he's worried about the value. Just get rid of the big body.
Yeah, let's see what he decides here. This is we're getting down to it. Getting rid of the Akopako also removes a blocker. Not that his attacks are insanely great or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The 5/6, I don't think he's like overly concerned about it. Like he can block it if he needs to, and he's at 15 still, so he can absorb a hit.
Yeah. Though he might potentially be thinking that it needs to go as well because it presents a solid blocker if to get these few points of damage in.
Yeah. See, even though he's transformed the mural, it's still just like I haven't been insanely impressed with with the mural. I've just found like you're paying 5 mana for 4/4, not really a good deal. You're paying 7 mana for another 4/4, not really a good deal. And then you still have to do stuff in order to get more 4/4s. I mean, it's a good card.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it does ask a lot of resources of you in order to
Yeah.
really benefit from it. So I think people have been picking it higher than I have in drafts, which is why I think I only played with it once. All right, so he does just he's staying consistent with his strategy this game, which is to attack as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Notably, the discovery of the volatile wanderglyph means he can activate the mural again. That means he doesn't have to play Sunscribe in order to get another activation this turn. So potentially going to be seeing the removal of the 5/6 just to get some way cleared
Yeah.
for him,
So
so we can keep on
Caleb goes
attacking.
to 1, which is the bare minimum of life required to play the game of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at a archaeologist on top, the 5 mana 4/4.
Mm-hmm.
He's deciding if that's good enough or not. He will get to draw it off the Ackle Packle and then get a fresh look at a different card on his turn. So he said, you know what, I'll take that, and then I'll get to take something else. Here comes a 4/4 because he did make the treasure there and the Wanderglyph. Yeah, off goes the 5/6, and now it's looking not awesome here for Caleb. Let's see what he draws. Okay, that's a aspirant, Ironpaw aspirant. So you could play both. You can keep making blockers, but if Ryan has a steady stream of artifacts, Caleb will not be able to keep up at all.
Yeah, and he did make the minecart block, so that means that Wanderglyph can no longer act as a source of continual artifacts via rummaging,
Yeah, so
at least.
Caleb is going to get back the puzzle door, which is going to let him see another card here with Ackle Packle. So that's good news for him. I mean, his blocks are pretty okay here, Caleb's. So I mean, he's at 1, so it's pretty precarious. But if Ryan doesn't have any tricks or anything like that, it's looking okay. It's looking like he may get to see another turn.
Oh man.
And
Uh, no, and not what he drew, but I just recall, and I believe he still kept it in the deck. But Ryan D does have a little bit of burn in the form of a sideboard card called Tectonic Hazard.
that was that 1 damage to everything.
Yeah.
That would be an
Uh,
interesting way
as-
to end the game. Very unexpected way, which
yeah.
we like
There's
for
also a
green
Sunfire
torches.
Torch.
So that would be a much less memorable way to end the game than a tectonic hazard, but both would be both would be acceptable.
So yeah, some awkward blocks here. He will he can trade his 2/2 for a 1/2, and then the other things trade off, or he could even no, he has to do the 5/5 on the.
If Ryan
Well,
doesn't
no, he
have
could he could he
anything,
could
I
do.
I don't think Ryan can really attack if he doesn't have anything.
No, he doesn't have anything. So because
The
unless
blocks are very very bad or very very good
yeah.
for, huh? So if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he could put the 5/5 on the 4/4. He could put the 4/4 and the 1/2 on the 5/5, and he can just put Ackle Packle in front of the 2/2, and basically
Hmm.
lose only a 4/4 in this exchange. And
Yeah.
Caleb and Ryan loses both of his larger creatures. So perhaps a, a bit of a slightly reckless attack there.
I think it's only not too bad in the fact that he can keep on making 4/4s, and
Yeah,
I think it was important for him to get rid of the mountain that he had in hand and just keep on digging.
yeah, that makes
And
sense.
in order to, yeah,
And he does have two things to put into play here. He's got the ever flowing well, which is the rare divination.
yes, quite good,
Oh
especially
yeah,
in
it's
the
great.
week one. The flip side is really annoying.
Very interesting.
You know,
I've yet to see the card really in play. I've never seen it cast, but now it's being cast. So
yeah.
mill two, draw
Um,
two, and then he can flip it into a land that can copy things or something like that.
yep, he can turn his lands into permanents that he casts.
Sure, I'm in. I'm into it. So he's drawn a helping hand here, which can reanimate a 3-drop creature, of which the only choice is a greedy freebooter, and it will come into play tapped. So
Ooh, those are some brutal mills.
yeah, the
He
bricks. Yeah,
and the needle.
yeah, and he drew a captivating cave and a helping hand. So yeah, that's how it is sometimes. Milling is random, but sometimes it feels super backbreaking when cards you need go away and cards you can't really use end up in your hand.
Mhm.
All right, so he's looking at a couple of extra cards here. He sees the another Iron Paw aspirant. So you can put some more bodies into play here, but nothing big. He will be able to make a tapped 4/4 with his mural. Oh no, he hasn't flipped it yet, right? No, he hasn't
Nope,
flipped
has
it yet.
not yet flipped.
Oh, never mind. He now has artifacts in his graveyard though, which he did not have before.
Okay.
So if he does get a turn to breathe, he can flip it, but it'll be tapped when it comes back. So again, that two drop that sort of just defined a lot of the decisions from this back half of the game. Right, so now he's looking at a Join the Dead here and his and a Miner's Guidewing. So Join the Dead will be a nice way to get one of those 4/4s off the board, or potentially even the dismisser or dismantler if if he feels it necessary. It's not inconceivable that he may
Notably,
want to kill that.
notably, the reason greedy freebooter entered top was due to the text of helping hand.
Yeah.
It is not due to the dismantler. Yeah.
Well, it's not an artifact, so
Yeah.
yeah. Helping hand. I mean, we used to just get unearth, right? No. We used to get helping hand. We used to get unearth, which was return a 3-drop into play, or it had cycling and it was not tapped. But now we get helping
Mhm.
hand. Unearth a little too good. So
So Wells gonna flip next week. Next, not next week.
I mean,
Next up.
it might flip next week too if Caleb comes back to the feature match area, but good chance. I
Yeah.
mean, he could flip that, or he could flip the mural. But again, with the dismantler in play, flipping the mural is just glacially slow. Yeah, and here's more 4/4s here. So we got
Yeah.
we got 6 potential attackers here.
Ryan's kind of just building out here. He couldn't really make any good attacks, and I think he was deciding: is this 2/2 plus a 4/4 good enough, or should I try to maybe consider attacking to damage it away? But no, decides
So
to
now
just build out.
Caleb's actually got enough mana to craft and leave up his Join the Dead. So that's nice.
Ooh,
Again, this crafting is going to be like extremely slow just because everything's tapped. It's
yeah.
tapped. Its tokens are going to be tapped. He will get another trigger from our friend Ackle Packle over there.
Right. So, I mean, this does kind of look like the way is clear for Ryan. Join the Dead is there to take care of the last attacker, but it
Yeah.
is kind of a 6-on-5 situation,
And now he's got a
seemingly.
sanguine. He's got a sanguine evangelist now in hand for next turn. So that's not altogether bad either. That's 2 bodies.
Hmm.
The question is, can Ryan make another 4/4 this turn? That's the big question.
Not unless he does an all-out attack to get a rummage twice. He has picked up a Glorifier of Suffering,
Okay.
which is unfortunately not going to be enough to, uh, to make this. I mean, he can make it a less awful attack when he gets surprised by Join the Dead if he does decide to swing out here.
I mean, there will be some amount of
But
chump blocking going on Caleb's side,
right,
regardless. So just making it a little more difficult for him. Here comes the Glorifier of Suffering. What a name.
decides to just buff up the 2/5/5s so that neither of them get eaten,
Yeah, I think the mural
and
is his
just
only blue card, so
go for
sacking
it.
the treasure is totally fine.
Yeah,
And the all-out attack once again. I mean, you gotta get him dead. I mean, we know Caleb has
yeah,
the removal, so he's not dying this turn. But his blocks are not incredible. He has a couple of okay ones, but he's he's
he
he's he's
knows.
losing some stuff here. Caleb is.
Yeah, and Ryan making this attack very sensible. The situation is not going to be getting better with Aquapackle generating so much value. He's decided to scry to the bottom a Child of the Volcano, 4 mana, 3/3 trample. That is just a little not as impactful here. It's the very last couple turns. He needs to
Yeah,
find burn. He
that
needs to
card
find
is
something.
probably like the next card to get cut from his deck, if I had to guess. Like that card is
Yeah,
very medium. All right, so making as good blocks as he can here without giving
yeah.
up too much of his board. So yeah, pretty much what you would expect to see here. Eating a couple creatures, chumping a couple others, leaving him with as much of a board as he can afford to.
Mm-hmm.
And he will get another Ackle Packle trigger here. So from this greedy freebooter. So we're seeing the power of our friend here. The first among equals. He finds Deathcat Marionette, which is a body, I suppose. So he'll take a
And a cheap
body.
one at that.
Ooh, he's also found a Deep Cavern Bat as the other card he's looking at here, and that can gain
Mm,
him some points of life. Perhaps it's not going to rip anything out of the hand, but it's better than a 1/1 Death Touch.
yeah,
And he's drawn a
because he has
Compass
enough to
Gnome.
trade.
He's drawn a Compass Gnome, which is actually not a blocker because it's going to enter the battlefield tapped.
Oh, but now he gets to use the power of Everflowing Well, and then turn his, I mean, whatever he wants. I would imagine maybe the treasure or land, but
Okay, so I've not seen what this card does. I know it's something about turning something into a copy. Whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced, to one other target permanent you control becomes a copy of that spell. So you don't get any you don't get an ETB trigger though.
correct.
You just get, if it's a creature, you can attack with it this turn,
Yeah,
and then it goes back to being whatever it was before. Okay, I mean, still a cool effect. It's a free little life point here. He'll take the life point when he's at 1, right? That means he no longer dies to our Tectonic Hazard sideboard card. Actually, he still does because a few creatures will die. So
yeah, he'll be missing blockers.
yeah. So Compass Gnome, unfortunately not a blocker, nor is the 4/4 token. So yeah, Caleb's clawing his way back in, gets to draw another card. So he's doing all he can here. Looking at Fanatical Offering, which he could cast. Also, looking at Family, I think it's called Reunion,
Yeah, Founder Union +1/+1 or hexproof to
which
everything.
he can also cast since he has the cave of the captivating cave. Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean the reunion would protect him versus Hazard.
Yeah,
If
I feel like Reunion. I mean, I know the card draw is important here, but I feel like Reunion can actually prevent him from dying, where Fanatical Offering might not be able to.
Mhm.
But Fanatical Offering is card advantage, so you take the card advantage when you can, I suppose.
several bits of card advantage, right? It generates a map token, which is yet another Apple Packle.
Yeah, so he would, if he wanted to get the Akko Paco trigger like this turn, he would have to Fanatical Offering during main phase, which he has actually set a stop on Ryan's second main phase, so he knows what's what.
Mhm.
He's
Of
14-2 for a
course,
reason.
of course, he knows what's what.
Yeah.
It's beyond question. But yeah, I mean, there's an abrade that's been drawn for
Okay.
Ryan, but that doesn't really get him out of the situation
No, and it also importantly does not create an artifact to.
to build up
Okay,
his board.
so
Yeah.
Fanatical Offering is going to target that. He can just sack it. So Caleb is happy to oblige here, and he's drawn a deadweight and Mephitic Draft. Not exactly the card he's after here.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. So here's Akko Paco trigger, 2 planes. So the land that he flipped, it can only make blue mana, right?
Yes, it can only
So he
make blue
couldn't
mana.
make.
Right.
I don't know what would happen if you made a second dead. What would happen if something turned into a copy of Deadweight? Would it just attach itself to whatever you wanted? I wonder.
I wonder if it would just go to the yard,
I think so.
right?
I know when an aura enters the battlefield from the graveyard, you get to attach it to something.
Or exile. Yeah,
Okay,
they,
so
they
Captivating
just need
Cave
to
here.
attach the card.
He can actually. I was about to say he can start loading up counters on this Deep Cavern Bat, and he's telepathically connected with me with that
Nice.
notion. And he's got
He
another
could even do it
Captivating
again,
Cave.
right?
Yeah, he's got another
Oh, I
Captivating Cave
was
here, and he has no instance, so there's nothing to hold mana up for.
yeah. I was actually gonna say he can potentially. Could he do it? No, it becomes a copy of the card that you're casting, right? So he couldn't turn something else into another captivating
He
caves
could turn something
to do it
into a
again
Mephitic Draught, and then if he was able to sacrifice it, he would draw a card, but he would not draw a card
and
on
die.
adventuring. Yes, and die. You know, that is a thing that could happen. So here's the Wander Glyph. It's just gonna sack that since it's on its way out. So I guess he sees the rummaging as scarier than the potential indestructible ability. But this has now tapped the Vanguard. Um,
Yeah,
there perhaps might be a pretty big attack here with the Battle Cry. I think Caleb's doing some math here. It's a little too far past my Magic the Gathering bedtime to do the math. But
hmm
Caleb, if Caleb figures out that he can attack, he will attack, and that looks like he figured it out. Yeah, so 6 gets blocked, 5 gets blocked, everything else gets in. 4, 7, 9, 12. Yeah, that is. It looks like 16. All right, so nice, quick turnaround there. There was a couple turns where he was on the ropes, but you know, played played tightly and managed to come back from being at 1 life, and that's why he's now 15-2 in feature matches. So congratulations to Caleb, and we'll see everybody back next week.